The late George Harrison once revealed he would have gladly joined another rock group with former bandmate John Lennon, but he wouldn't have wanted to do the same with another Beatle. Heading into the Beatles' final years together, Harrison's songwriting capabilities had flourished. He was churning out songs just as quickly as the group's chief songwriters, Lennon and Paul McCartney. However, the rate at which these tunes landed on Beatles' albums was much slower. Harrison claimed McCartney and Lennon often pushed him and his tracks aside, effectively placing him in a role he dubbed a glorified session man. Still, nothing compared to McCartney's domineering. Harrison once said that you'd have to work on tons of McCartney's tracks for him to work on one of yours. The tension between Harrison and McCartney in the group's final months was perfectly shown in Peter Jackson's The Beatles, Get Back, an expanded film of the group's fly-on-the-wall documentary, Let It Be. They fought about the direction of McCartney's tune, Two of Us, and Harrison briefly quit. So it was no wonder that Harrison would have preferred to be in a band again with Lennon instead of McCartney. During a press conference in 1974, per the book George Harrison on George Harrison, Interviews and Encounters, Harrison talked about the Beatles reuniting. He said the only way it would have happened was if the band went broke, but even then, after having shed his Beatle George persona, he enjoyed playing with other musicians instead. The point is, it's all a fantasy, the idea of putting the Beatles back together again, he said. If we ever do that, the reason will be that we are all broke. I'd rather have Willie Weeks on bass than Paul McCartney. That's the truth, with all respect to Paul. George Harrison added, "The Beatles was like being in a box. We got to that point. It's taken me years to be able to play with other musicians. Because we were so isolated, it becomes very difficult playing the same tunes day in, day out. Since I made All Things Must Pass, it's just so nice for me to be able to play with other musicians." I don't think the Beatles were that good. I think they're fine, you know. Ringo's got the best backbeat I've ever heard. Paul is a fine bass player, but he's a bit overpowering at times. John's gone through all of his scene, but he's like me, he's come back around. Still, Harrison would have joined a band with Lennon, not McCartney. He said, "To tell the truth, I'd join a band with John Lennon any day, but I couldn't join a band with Paul McCartney, but it's nothing personal. It's just from a musical point of view."